All right, so I am logging in now. I'm going for my token value. And again, please note, when you're entering your username and password, if you get an error before it prompts you for the token value, please to check your username and password. Once the username and password is correct, that is when you will get the option to enter your token value. All right, these are just generic. All right, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to walk you through the process to add a bank to the system. So again, for that process, what we will do is go to payments, select the sub tab that says banks.
So Rashid,
sure,
just to help you, just to go back. So the customer would have logged on already using their username and their password. They get into the system. We're moving now to payment section, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And the first thing that we're going to be doing, we will be adding the bank because this is the first step in doing a wire payment.
Okay.
So once we selected banks, you're going to select add bank. And then this is where you would enter the information for the bank, whether the beneficiary's bank or the intermediary bank, right?
And so Rashid, just to support you,
sure.
I'm seeing at the top where we have the different branches from the countries. So if you're from Cayman, you'd see the list of Cayman branches. And if you're from Bahamas or TCI, you'd see the list of your branches. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sure, no problem, Kesia. Thanks for that. Now, once you've entered the information here, you will select Add to Personal Bank List, and they will be added to the listing of banks on the system. And all of these banks will be under your personal bank listing. The second step is to create the recipient. For that, again, let me just go back to the dashboard. You go to Payments, Recipients, and then Create Recipient. Now, please note there is important information at the top of the screen that will give you an update about Swift and the special characters not being allowed when you're creating a wire recipient. Very important. It's not allowed for the wire recipients nor the payment itself. All right. Then I'm gonna select wire, then set recipient type. And here now, this is where you will create the beneficiary on the system. So you would enter the beneficiary name. And you can just put a number or anything that can easily identify the recipient, the address.
So Rashid, just to be clear, just want me to understand and the customers to understand that recipient ID could be any number generated by you?
It can be anything. Again, it can be a unique name.
Right.
It can be their TRN.
Okay.
It can be an abbreviated name. Anything that can easily identify this recipient.
Okay. Continue.
Thanks. Okay, so once you've entered the address of the beneficiary, you would enter the account number. Again, let me go back up. The address field is mandatory. And depending on the country you choose, sometimes the state will not be available for selection. So let me show you here. All right, so the state's coming up with that one. So I had selected Gibraltar and the state option was nulled out or grayed out, okay? Then we would go down to the account section. Again, you would enter the account number as is, no dashes, no number signs, just the number and no spaces. If the account number is a designated IBAN account number, you would just select this option here. And again, IBAN accounts are normally accounts maintained in the European banks. You will select the currency of the account. And then select your bank. Once you've selected the bank, the information will appear in the bank information screen, and then you will select submit and then confirm. Once you've added the recipient, it will then be added to the master recipient listing, right? And then the final step is now to create the wire payment. So for that, from the dashboard, you can either go to payments, then create payment, or you can select create payment directly from the dashboard. Under one-time payment, you're going to select wire payment, create payment, and before I proceed, there is an important notice here. Now, to avoid any delays in processing your payment, if the beneficiary customer's name exceeds 35 characters, please utilize the remittance information field to input the entire name along with the purpose of the payment. So it's just like I had mentioned before. If the name is too long when you're creating the recipient, please feel free to just add the full name in the remittance info area below. Okay?
So let's take an example, Rashid. You
Sure.
say it should be 35 characters. And
Sure.
if we should choose the name of a company called Global Transaction Business Associates, that would obviously be more than 35 characters, right?
Correct.
So what you're saying, if when you're entering that customer's name, you're probably only able to enter Global Transaction Biz. When you're actually now going to enter the actual transfer payment, you're now going to click in this section that says remittance, purpose of payment, the name of the full name of the company.
Full name.
Okay.
And you can just proceed.
Okay.
All right. Now, additionally, again, we would select the name, payment, the effective date for the wire payment. Again, you can future date the wire payment. Select the account that you want to pay from, the amount, the currency, payment, and then we will select the intermediary bank. All right, sorry. Let's see. All right, okay. So I'm gonna add, say, JP Morgan Chase. Add intermediary bank. Yeah. Now, here's a field that is also not mandatory. Not all intermediary banks come in regards to payments come with an account number. So if you weren't given an account number by your beneficiary, please do not add any information here. Okay. Now, once you've added the intermediary bank, you're then going to proceed to select add recipients. Then you will just select the recipient from the listing. And again, all you would see is wire recipients on the system, and you can only select one. Now, once you've completed all of the required sections, that is when you can just select submit. Once you've selected submit, you can then proceed to confirm the wire payment.